let's quickly go through the Microsoft document which we are trying to follow to configure this FSLogix profile containers on Azure files using Microsoft Entra ID in a hybrid scenario. When we say hybrid scenario, that means your hybrid identities which coming from your local ID to Entra ID. Now, if you scroll down, the first thing what it says, the prerequisite before deploying this solution, verify that your requirement meets this requirement. If you click on this, these are the minimum requirements. First, we have to go through that. So let's go one by one. First, it says your Azure storage account can't authenticate with both Microsoft Entra ID and a second method like ADDS or Microsoft Entra Domain Service. So it says that one at a time, the storage account authentication should be required. Now, what does that mean? If you go quickly open your storage account, and click on data storage, click on file shares. So currently there is no file share, just to store your user profile. Now to do that, let's quickly create that file share and let's understand the requirement. Let's give it a name, user AVD profile. On the backup side, for this tutorial, let's turn off this backup and click review plus create. So as the file share is ready, now if you take a look this configuration, and in the right side identity based access which is not configured, if you click on that, now this is the authentication area, the identity based access of this file share. So if user will logged in into the VM, right, using this web client, so he will be able to authenticate this storage account and the file share based on these three methods. So any one of the method you have to configure to authenticate, either ADDS or the Entra Domain Service or the Entra Kerberos. For this tutorial, we will go with Microsoft Entra Kerberos. The same what it document says, that if you already have chosen another AD method for the storage account, you must disable it before you enabling Microsoft Entra Kerberos. That means if any of them is enabled, you have to disable it first. In our case, there is nothing enabled, so just click on Microsoft Entra Kerberos, and then this section is open. Now you can just turn this on. Now here it's asking domain name and domain GUID. For that, quickly go back to the document, and just to set up that, if you go back, scroll down, here's the option enable Microsoft Entra Kerberos authentication on Azure profile. Just click on that. Now scroll down. Now here it says select Microsoft Entra Kerberos checkbox, which we did, and as an optional we can also set these options. So let's try to do that. There is a command get AD domain. Just to get those information, you have to run this command in your ADDS server. Meanwhile, you can see our Entra Connect sync is also done. configuration completed. So now our local AD is getting synced with the Entra ID. We have to wait for at least 5 to 10 minutes to sync all those user and groups. Meanwhile, we can minimize that, open the PowerShell, enter that, and now this is the complete information. Here, the DNS root, which is bbrightsession.local, let's take that. Enter as a domain name and domain GUID. So if you go and choose object GUID, you can take that. Click save. Now let's go back to the document one more time. Sorry for little back and forth. Actually, we should start with this enabling first, but we started with the prerequisite. So let's go through the prerequisite one more time. So now our Microsoft Entra Kerberos is enabled. Next, it says the feature doesn't currently support user accounts that you created. This feature doesn't currently support user accounts that you created and managed solely in Microsoft Entra ID. Means you require the hybrid identity. That FSLogix will not work only with the Entra ID. If you do not have local ID, then the FSLogix you cannot set up. Right? It says you must create these accounts in Active Directory and sync them to Microsoft Entra ID, which you just did. So you created the local AD and you sync with the connect AD, right? So this requirement is fulfilled. Now the third says these two services, Win HTTP web proxies and IPHL PSVC service, these two services should be in running mode. So if you install this AD Connect Sync and all the IDs are synced, these two services are already working. Just to verify that, just open that, click on more detail, click on services. First, let's check that. See, Win HTTP Auto Proxy SVC, this service is running. Now the next one is IPHLP PSCVC, this service is also running. So this requirement is also fulfilled. Now further it says you must disable multi-factor authentication on the Microsoft Entra app representing the storage account. Now, normally what happens when you enable this Kerberos, which is enabled now, it's automatically register one app with the name of your storage account. So your storage account name is here SAZAVDN01, right? This is your storage account name. Now by this name, this complete URL name, there is an app registered in your Entra ID. So if you go and click on Entra ID, click on manage, click on app registration, all application, and here it is. It's created today, 19th of July, SAZVD. All right. So for this app, it's saying that multi-factor authentication should be disabled. In our case, as our Entra ID is running on free license, so we don't have the license is Entra ID free, so we don't have option to enable or disable conditional access or MFA. So this app option is already disabled for us. Otherwise, if you have P1 or P2 license, then you have to disable it. Then this is simply a sort of message, and same with that. So we can leave these two options as it is. For operating system, we are already following Windows 11 multi-session, and there is no further requirement. Now quickly jump back. Alright, so this is the main document where we started from. Now let's go one by one and try to verify that if we have done everything. First, it says the create an Azure storage account that we already have. Then it says create an Azure file share, which we already created. It says under your storage account to store your FSLogix profile. Fine. Then it says enable Microsoft Entra Kerberos authentication that we already did. So for this option, when it says when configuring the directory and file level permission, review the recommended list of permission for FSLogix profile and configure the store permission for profile containers. For that, let's quickly verify that what exactly it's asking. If you scroll down, it says for Azure files, the outline provides the initial concept necessary when using Azure files as your SMB storage provider. Regardless of the Active Directory configuration selected, it's recommended to configure the default share level permission. Now this default share level permission, it says choose as contributor. For that, if you quickly go back to your storage account and Azure file share, and click on this service configured again, in the bottom, you have an option which is called default share level permission, which is disabled currently. You have to enable it and choose storage file SMB data share contributor. Click on save. That is done. Now go back to the document. So it says which is assigned to all authenticated identities. Now further, to be able to set the Windows ACL, ensure you assign share level permission for specific Entra ID user or groups which the storage file data SMB share elevated contributor role and reviewed configure directory and file share permissions over SMB. Now it's saying apart from that default level permission, you have to set the RBAC on Azure file as well. And for that, you have to assign a RBAC role called a storage file data SMB share elevated contributor on a particular Entra ID user or group. Now, let's try to verify if our user and group has been synced into the Entra ID. So go on Entra ID, click on users. Let's try to verify the name Sandeep, which we created. As you can see, Sandeep, which has been synced over here, and on permission sync, you can see it says yes. So that has been synced. Now let's verify the group as well. If you click on groups, open all the groups. Let's verify AVD. So we can filter it out all the groups by the name AVD, and now we have 4 groups, and now this is the group name which has been synced from local AD. As you can see, the source is Windows Server AD. So this is coming from our local Windows. You can see the one user is there. If you click on that user, and that user is Sandeep. So we are good here. The user and groups has been synced. Now quickly go back on file share. Now you can see the identity based access is configured and default share level permission is enabled. Now just quickly click on file share again, click on access control, click on add role assignment. Now this is the permission what it's talking about: storage, file, data, SMB, share, elevated contributor. Just select this, click on next, click on select member and choose our AVD group. So this time we are choosing this group for all the permission. Now remember earlier when we set up the Azure Virtual Desktop, we also assigned one group for different places. One is the application group assignment and another was on the access list of resource group. There we have to enable this group as well. So let's quickly do that and then we will jump back to the document. So first of all, we will open our resource group. So we have the RG AVD infra. Let's click on that. And therefrom we can just click on access control and we can click on add role assignment. There we just need to use the role virtual and virtual machine administrator login. Click next, select members. We can choose the new group which sync from Windows AD, AVD user group from AD. Select review plus assign. Now we need to add one more role. So click on add role assignment. There we can choose virtual machine user login. Select that. Click on next. Select member and select the group. AVD user group from AD. Review plus assign. Now after that, we just need to take the application group in the desktop. Now we need to add the same. So click on manage assignments and now here on we need to add the same group. So click add and select the group. Alright, so as we have added now as you can see, as per the document, we have covered both the things. Now let's move further and read up other stuff. Now here in the configure your local Windows devices, there we just need to open the VMs which we have created in the session host. As mentioned in the document, to access Azure file shares from a Microsoft Entra join VM for FSLogix profile, you must configure the local Windows device your FSLogix profile are being loaded onto. And specifically, it's mentioned that enter Kerberos functionality using one of the following methods. So that means out of these four, right? We have to just do a couple of stuff, and that is enable the group policy, right? And adding some registry values in the bottom. First of all, for that, we will open our session host VM, right? So just click on window, type group policy, add it. Now, as per the given path in the document, administrative template, system, Kerberos, and allow retrieving the Azure AD Kerberos ticket, granting ticket during logon. You can match with the document. This is the same path. So it is by default disabled. We have to enable it. Double click on it. Click enabled and apply. Now, as per the document, this is another group policy, but again, this is not for this. It could be either of them. So we have enabled the above one, as the document says, one of the following. So the another group policy is not needed. Now coming to the registry add value, now we can copy this and we can run this in the PowerShell. So just star, or maybe in the command prompt. So we paste it and press enter. So it says the operation completed successfully. Now scroll down, copy the another registry add value. As it says, roaming profile solution like FSLogix, the credential keys and credential manager must belong to the profile that's currently loading. So copy, paste, and enter. So it has been added as well. All right. Now further it says configure FSLogix on your local Windows device. Update or install FSLogix. When you click on it, you can see it has some steps to download and install the FSLogix. Though when you create any VM under session host, then this FSLogix automatically installed. And just to verify that, you can minimize everything, right click, task manager, click on services, check FX, see this FSLogix Cloud Caching Service or FSLogix App Service, both are already installed. So there is no step we have to do from here. Again, as I mentioned, this is not needed just because of the VMs are created under session host. Now after that, the second step says configure profile container registry settings. When you click on it, so it says that we have to add some of the values in the registry for FSLogix profile, and those values are mentioned in the table. But the good thing is we have the PowerShell command as well, so we just need to copy. We have to replace this storage account connection string so that we can update. First, open the PowerShell window, ISE this time. So in ISE, we will get the editor as well. So just paste the script. Now let's copy the storage account URL. Click on storage, file shares. In the overview, we have this share URL. Just copy it and replace with this connection string. We have to modify further just to remove this HTTPS and change the backslash to forward slash. Now run this and it has been updated. Now if you go back to the document, see, so all the settings has been done. Now this is some verification, we will do it later on. But now as you understand, the same settings whatever we did, you have to do on the other VM of that session host as well, or all the VMs what you have in your session host, you have to do all the settings again. So as you are already aware that we have two VMs in the session host, which is VMZ AVD N3. Now if you click on virtual machine and see we have AVD N3, if you click on that, now again just to do all those settings, as we don't have public IP on this network settings, as you can see, so we have to configure the public IP and as well as the network security group. So that's something we will do in the background. So we will pause our video and we will come back whenever it is done. Okay, so we have done the same settings in the another VM as well, which is VMZ AVD N3. Just quickly tell you what we have done. Just assign the one public IP on the NIC and open the VM, right? One is, let me open the document. So let me tell you what we have done in the another VM. Again, I'm repeating myself that configuring your local window device, we just quickly set one group policy and added two registry key. One is this one and second is this one. And as FSLogix app is already installed, so we just went to the configure profile content registry settings, and that PowerShell script which we ran here ran onto the third VM as well. That's it. Now our both the VMs are set up for FSLogix app. Now we can quickly test if that is working. For that, let's quickly jump on remote desktop web client. Okay, before we verify, one step which I forget to tell you, that if you click on Microsoft Entra ID and click on app registration, click on all applications, you have to click on this storage account app registration, which you remember created at the time when you authenticated Azure file share using Kerberos. So for this app registration, you have to click on API permission, and there is an option called grant admin consent for default directory. You just need to enable it. Click yes. Now the consent is there. Now you come back to home. Just for testing purpose, right? And I have added this user into this security group as well, because everywhere we have added this security group, right? In each and every RBAC rule or all the assignments, we have added this security group. So any user you create, it has to be added in this security group. Now, just quickly verify, log out my name and log in with Sapan. Now, as you can see, I have logged in with user Sapan. Now, if you click on session desktop, now one thing which is important to note here, if you go in your file share and click on browse, if FSLogix is working perfectly, then you will find one folder with your username, as I am able to see Sapan and some SID number. And if you open this folder, you will get the profile settings saving here. So that means this FSLogix is working perfectly fine. Now, just to test, let's do some personalized setting for this user, Sapan. Let's change a different background color. Close this and close the desktop session. Now let's verify which session host used by Sapan. So quickly go in host pool, session host, open N3 first. Alright, so you can see Sapan logged in here, but it's disconnected now. And in another N2, Sapan has been disconnected from here as well. Now quickly to verify, let's turn off one of the machine and let's wait just to showcase here. Alright, as you can see, N2 machine is shut down and N3 is available. So that means if now Sapan is trying to make desktop session, he will only able to log in on N3, and the setting what he has done on the desktop should remain visible. And where from it should pick? It should pick from that Azure file share. So I'm just opening the session desktop. As you can see, the same desktop picture is coming for Sapan, and it is coming from that profile. Now just to verify again, now let's turn off this machine and turn on N2. Now as you can see, the 3 is shut down and 2 is available. Now again let's try to connect, and we should get the same background picture for this user. Now it's asking for permission, say yes. Okay, it's loading. And now you can see, please wait for FSLogix app. So this app service is loading that user's profile from file share. If it is visible here, this is one of the signs that FSLogix app is working perfectly fine. Now let's wait and see, the same background is coming again. So that means that user profile is roaming now. The user will log in and will move to any of the VM, will get the same profile picture or profile setting, whatever he set. Alright. So in this video, we understand Azure Virtual Desktop and FSLogix configuration. Thank you so much, guys. That's it for this video.